are you doing differently? What are you not doing differently? And how each of you has seen uh, society and business change, and will they be permanent, temporary? So, you know, John Thorpe, you touched upon it. May changes may be permanent. What else have you all seen, or different, or the
Well,
same?
first of all, I'm going to challenge John back a little bit. I don't expect for a minute that organizations are going to magically go, hey, we don't need to bring everyone back. I fully expect when this is over, all the offices are going to reopen, and there's a whole lot of reasons for that. But what I do think is going to change is the cultural dynamic. Is that people will have become much more accustomed to asynchronous work, to different forms of collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
and those are the parts that I think are going to be either an opportunity for those organizations that harness it and say, hey, this is we're going to use this time to start experimenting with transforming our culture, or there's going to be those that try to ignore it and are effectively going to have seeded the foundation for a cultural revolution within their own organizations that will either see employees leave when they have the opportunity, or
Mm-hmm.
some significant issues there. So I think it's going to be, I actually think it's a treacherous time for enterprise leaders right now, because they have to respond in the immediate term, but they also need to be thinking longer term, and that's hard to do at the same time.
But it's treacherous because they have to lead,
Interesting.
which isn't
I
something
think,
they've done very well.
yeah, I think, Charlie, your point is, I think we're going to, if I could put it in Frank speak, I think we're going to see more blended work, like we see the blended classroom. And Ray, you're familiar with something like this, where some of the stuff is online, maybe even professors are online, and some of the stuff is in person, where you have blended work, and there's no one that is stronger than the other. They both work complementary to each other. How are you seeing that, Ray?
Yeah, actually, I just sent an article over to Cheryl this morning talking about how barriers are down for making a lot of those kinds of changes, in particular in organizations
Mm.
that are somewhat hidebound. That we've never done it that way. There's only one way to do it, and it's the way I learned it 40 years ago.
Right.
That now they have to do it differently to survive at all, and academia is a perfect example of that. But it's causing changes, and I think you're going to see also it's going to. So I'm seeing in some organizations there's that the barriers down to try new things that people never tried before. So that makes it easier to foster some of the change. Also, I'm seeing in some of the industrials I'm working with, they're rethinking their whole supply chain. They were too close to one or two key suppliers, and now
Mm-hmm.
they've got a major problem in their supply chain because that one supplier is either in a country that they can't export from, or maybe the supplier is just shut down for whatever reason. So
Right.
I'm seeing a big change going from a supply chain to a supply network. And the third thing is there's a lot of customers are now demanding, I say demanding, they're requiring attributes that are digitally enabled that they didn't have to before, and now they're looking for that in products and services. And can I order it online? Can I get it serviced online? Can I, all these things that in the past they didn't ask for. So I'm seeing changes on both the supply side and the customer side, and I'm seeing barriers down for making changes. So to the point about leading, leaders will be able to actually make something happen a lot faster and easier. By the same token, leaders who are afraid to do anything or are immobilized by the fear, their companies are going to really suffer.